Welcome to WiredToHunt's Whitetail How-Tos, where we provide a step-by-step tutorial for one important deer hunting task.
The traditional late season hunting advice is to find that food source, sit on it, and wait for the deer to come out. Most people don't have that. And not every food source is created equal. When you're thinking about a late season bow hunt and you don't have that perfect food source, it doesn't mean you're out of the game. Deer still have to walk from the food to their bedding areas. They're still gonna mill around. They still might browse. There's still a lot of opportunities. You might be hunting thousands of acres of timber and not have a destination food source within 3 miles of you. Does that mean you're out of the game? Absolutely not. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta analyze your situation. What do you have to work with? Do you have access to a property that they might be bedding in? Do you have access to a transitional property? If you're in that big wood situation, do you have some mast they might be on? Do you have some browse they might be on? A lot of times with hunting, we kind of focus on the negatives. What are the positives? Like, what are you working with? The second thing you gotta do is figure out where deer like to walk. When I'm sitting there and I don't have that destination food source for whatever reason, I kind of go back to this mobile strategy of observe, move, observe, move. Those deer in the late season, even if they've been really pressured, they'll start to mill around, they'll browse, they'll stage, they'll stay in the cover. But if you've got good binos and you got a good vantage point, you'll probably pick them up. I know these deer have to walk to get to food. I know they have to walk to get to where they're gonna bed. Maybe in the right situation, they're gonna have to walk somewhere to get water, depending on where you hunt. If you're down south, they're gonna give you something to work with. But you gotta go in with the idea that the food source stuff, that's for the people who have 1,000 acres in southern Iowa to manage. You don't have that. And so you can get into the woods, start watching them. They'll give you something to work with. Then the next step is to figure out how to get in on them a little bit closer. The other thing that you can do here, and I do this a lot in the late season, is I start running cameras a lot more. I'll mount them high up in a tree with a camera mount, angle them down on trails, and I can couple that with what I actually observe when I'm in there and I play it safe, and you can start to pin down where those deer are killable when they're not on that food source that you can't hunt or that you don't have. And so don't give up on your late season hunts if you don't have that food source. Figure out a way to get dialed into the current deer movement, then work your way in for the right setup. This can totally be accomplished if you're really careful about it. You will get on those deer and you will be successful just by figuring out where they like to walk. If you want more whitetail hunting advice, please listen to the Wired to Hunt podcast and the Wired to Hunt Foundation's podcast, and we'll give you everything you needed to hear about deer.